And you made mention just a minute ago about a textured
Okay.
implant. What is the difference, and what would you use the difference of a textured implant versus a smooth for?
Well, I like the textured implant. That's a good question. Because the texturing, when you compare a textured implant to a smooth implant, the smooth implant is smooth, and because it's smooth, it's slippery,
Mm-hmm.
and because it's slippery, it can't be gripped as well by the muscle. The textured implant, on the other hand, has a surface that's equivalent to a rough fabric, like a burlap or some other type of a rough type
Mm-hmm.
of a cloth or fabric, sort of an exterior. And because of that, if it is placed underneath the muscle has an opportunity to grow slightly into the surface, or at least the surface becomes a little bit more tacky or grippable. And even though this is not talked about in the plastic surgical world that much, it's my contention and belief that um, the ability of the muscle to grip this textured implant, it has a huge benefit in terms of maintaining that implant basically where the surgeon leaves it, rather than having a situation where the implant has a tendency to be slippery and fall downwards or migrate towards the feet, creating a bottoming out and a rotation up of the nipple and things like that that are not desirable. So the thing that people don't realize, and even surgeons I don't think really consciously think about that much, is that the muscle of the body is a remarkable organ system. It's remarkable in that if the muscles are what allow you to sit and stand and walk and talk and turn and make very fine movements or make very strong, powerful movements. It's all about the muscle.
Mm-hmm.
And so for a muscle to be asked to cradle and support and hold an implant in position, basically, you know, for, you know, for, the foreseeable future, is not a big uh, task to ask that muscle to do, because the muscle has the capacity to do that. And
Right.
so that's why I think putting an implant, a textured implant under the muscle, particularly for first-time breast augmentations, is so important. I think if a patient has had a previous implant, be it smooth or uh, textured,
Mm-hmm.
and regardless of whether or not that implant was placed on top of the muscle or underneath, once you've had an implant in position for a while, then you will have a capsule or a casing, a covering that has grown around the implant, or a cavity, if you will, that you can use if that implant should have to be replaced with something different. And so, on second time or revision type
Mm-hmm.
breast surgery, I will frequently use a smooth implant in that instance, because the implant that's smooth is a little bit softer and it is a little bit more fluid and it does move around a little bit more easily, because it's not something that's being gripped quite as snugly with the muscle. So I do have an application for both types. It's just a matter of my personal philosophy and preference about which I use when.